Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Guns N' Roses Central. And I did an episode yesterday about something that was in the news. We talked about Gary Oldman and his relationship to Guns N' Roses and their history. And today I want to talk about something else that's related to Guns N' Roses history, especially something that's been in the news, and that is the owner and founder of Tower Records, Ross Solomon, passed away at the age of 92. So if you guys remember the 2012 interview that Axl did with Jimmy Kimmel, he talked about how he worked at Tower Video, which was right across the street from Tower Records, and how he was a manager there in the middle of the 80s, and he used to hire a lot of his former friends, or his current friends at that time, and his bandmates as well. So Axl joked that he was a pretty lenient manager, and he really wouldn't come down hard on people for being late to the job. So in Slash's book, he talked about breaking up with Axl Rose and then making up with him when they used to be together in Hollywood Rose. So one day not long after, the guitarist phoned his former bandmate Axl at his place of work, Tower Video, which was across the street from the famous Tower Records on Sunset. Slash wanted to confront Rose about rumors that the singer had slept with his girlfriend. So according to Slash in his autobiography, Axl told me of course he did, but that at that time I wasn't effing her, so what did it matter? The two reconciled and Axl tipped off Slash about a job opening at Tower Video. Wrote Slash, Axl always chose to patch up things with grand gestures. Now, a fun fact for you guys who may not know this, so in 1989, after the MTV Video Music Awards, Axl Rose and Vince Neil ended up getting into a war of words in the press. Neil publicly challenged Rose to settle the score, so Neil challenged Axl Rose to a fight in the parking lot of Tower Records on Sunset. Now, sadly, the fight never took place, but the two singers still ended up trading jabs in the press. So in 2002, Axl gave an interview to a Detroit radio station where he talked a bit about the old days where he actually used to live behind Tower Records on Sunset. And he talked a bit about not going out around that time and being photographed by the paparazzi. Here's what he had to say.
Have you been? Where has Axl Rose been for the last 10 years? What have you been doing? Just mellowing out, getting stuff ready to go? Or, I mean...
No, it's just, basically, I just don't go looking to, promote myself on every little thing until there's some kind of product, and we've been, or something to put out that I think's worth it, and we've been working on this band and trying to get things right for a long time, and if I go to do interviews or anything like that, it just gets turned around by so many people around the world who don't have anything better to do than to try to shoot anything down, and that was just too draining to deal with everybody else. It's interesting. In L.A., there's places that I go to all the time, but since I did the MTV thing, I go to the same place, and suddenly there's paparazzi, and it's like, Axl's out, and it's like, well, I was here last weekend, and you didn't care.
Right.
I just wasn't going. I used to live behind Tower Records on Sunset, and I lived right behind Spago, and if you wanted to, you could go down and stand there, and all the paparazzi would take your pictures and stuff. It's just dependent on if you wanted to. I mean, I never did that, but you drove by it every day. I mean, there's other people there that would purposely go there.
So, fast forward now to 1987, Guns N' Roses are in London, England. They're about to play several shows at the Marquee Club, and it's a couple months before Appetite for Destruction comes out. So according to the book, The Life and Times of a Rock and Roll Band, Guns N' Roses by Paul Elliott, he tells a story about how Guns N' Roses were in London, and it was late night when Axl, Alan Niven, and Tom Zutaut headed over to Tower Records at Piccadilly Circus. After Axl bought an Eagles album on cassette, he was feeling the jet lag kicking in and sat on a staircase. That's when the trouble started. 3 of the store's security staff approached and told him to get up because he was blocking an exit. When Axl refused, there was, as Alan Niven euphemistically put it, a certain amount of discussion. The police were called, and Axl was somewhat surprised at how the situation was resolved. He said the cops in London were a bit different than they were back in the States. So the cops ended up putting their hands on Axl, and he basically yelled at them to get their hands off of him, and they actually obeyed. And back in LA, Axl said they wouldn't take any of that shit. You'd be slung straight across in front of the squad car with a gun to your head. So at 2 of the shows that Guns N' Roses played at the Marquee in London, Axl actually brought up the story of being kicked out of Tower Records. And at the end of Rocket Queen on the June 28th show, he talks a bit more about it. So here's what he said.
You happen to be at the last show. All right. Or anywhere else you may have heard about the shit that went down with Tower Records. I'm happy to announce it. Everything's been sorted out. Got me a nice new jacket here, you know. Tower Records is okay.
Fast forward now to September 1991, Guns N' Roses are about to release the double album Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and many Tower Records across the country stayed open late to actually have the album release at midnight. Here's one of the Tower Records from the news.
Seen at the Beaverton Tower Records store tonight. This is a live picture. The store opens at midnight. That's right, midnight, to sell copies of the latest Guns N' Roses release. About 24 people are out there waiting. It's the group's first album in 4 years. Guns N' Roses has stirred up a storm of controversy, mostly because of the legal troubles of lead singer Axl Rose. He started a riot at a St. Louis concert and made the news for speeding in California.
Beaverton Tower Records, how may I help you?
We've been getting phone calls all day long for the last week.
Oh, we can't sell it till tomorrow.
We've been waiting forever for it.
Guns N' Roses is actually releasing 2 separate albums. Fans describe their music like
Pretty
this.
hard rock, I mean.
Power, man. Emotional impact.
They came out and were like a breath of fresh air.
The albums go on sale at midnight. The price, $15 each. Tower Records says it will stay open until 2 a.m. for anyone who is a fan of the group or maybe just has a case of insomnia and can't get to sleep.
Yeah.
Boy, I was worried, but looks like we'll be able to get over there after the show after all.
Good. We'll be there.
Yeah.
So when the Illusions records came out, Tower Records actually had a midnight release party for the albums, as you guys can see from this footage.
Spectacles. But even that could not prepare them for the hysteria that greeted the release of their long-awaited double album.
There has been nothing like the anticipation of Use Your Illusions ever. They sound scanned 1,600,000 records the first week and was just this juggernaut that had not been seen since the Beatles, really.
So Rolling Stone did an article about the album's release in 1991, and they talked a bit about Donald Trump showing up to Tower Records in Manhattan and Slash going to Tower Records on Sunset. So here's what they had to say. They said, for a few brief months in 1991, beginning on the 17th of September at midnight to be precise, Guns N' Roses achieved a rare state. They were the biggest band in the world, and at that moment, Donald Trump was in a limousine with 5 models heading for Tower Records in Manhattan on his way to buy Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, the new albums that were a music industry first, being released simultaneously. Stores in every major city were planning to be opening at 12 in order to sell them. Slash was burned out by the creation and about to take a holiday in Tanzania, interrupted his journey to go to the airport to stop off at Tower Records on Sunset Boulevard to watch the records go on sale from behind a 2-way mirror in the back of the shop, the very same mirror from which the store detectives had arrested him for stealing cassettes 10 years earlier. It was, he ruefully says, a magical little moment. Then I took off and went to Africa and got away from it. I went out to Masai Mara for a couple weeks, and that's about as far removed from being a rock star as you can get. So fast forward now to almost 25 years later, and there's news about Guns N' Roses and Tower Records. So Guns N' Roses are about to play their first gig involving Axl Rose, Slash, and Duff at the Troubadour on April 1st. And there was a major announcement coming that tickets would be on sale for the Troubadour gig for only $10 at the old Tower Records on Sunset. So around 250 tickets were expected to be given away at noon on April 1st, and it was done as on a first-come, first-served basis. Also set up at the Tower Records, which probably didn't get as much press attention at the time, was a Guns N' Roses museum. So they had different memorabilia, they had different flyers, they had tour books, and all that kind of stuff on display for fans to check out and take photos of. And here's the news report from the Tower Records the day of the April 1st show.
A big surprise from Guns N' Roses. They've got fun and games this April Fool's Friday, and it's no joke. The Rockers are putting on their first live concert tonight after reuniting. KCAL9's Randy Page is live at the old Tower Records building on the Sunset Strip, where fans are lining up for a chance to get tickets. And Randy, looks like they're going to need a little patience.
And you're about to witness the actual moment when these fans have been waiting all night long will be allowed inside. And what's interesting about that, actually, is that this is the first time I can remember that the tickets are sold out before they even go on sale. And that's because these people have been waiting in line. They're allowed in one at a time. And now that they've reached the magic number, no one else will be allowed in. Technically, the tickets will be sold as soon as Michael Torres, this man right here in front, walks through. He's number 1. That's going to happen any moment. And in the meantime, all the people who are waiting in line who didn't get here at this moment are going to have to hear about what the show was like because they're not going to be able to get inside. The Troubadour only holds about 450 people. The show starts at about 10 o'clock tonight.
I'm super excited to see Guns N' Roses!
These fans are the lucky ones, these not so lucky. Tonight's concert at the Troubadour can only hold about 450 people, and this line holds a lot more than that.
10, can I have you wait right here, ma'am?
Michael Torres was first in line. He's been waiting here since 8 o'clock last night.
Best day of my life. This is going to be the coolest show ever. It's the best band ever. This is completely crazy.
The tickets for tonight's show are going for $10. That's about what they cost when Guns N' Roses started out in 1986. In today's dollars, a real bargain.
That is more important to me than the birth of my child.
Fans are thrilled because Axl Rose and guitar player Slash will be reuniting tonight on stage for the first time in many years. They're getting ready to launch a North American tour next month in Las Vegas, and tonight's show could be a dress rehearsal in front of diehard fans. And here is the moment we all have been waiting for. And here is the moment that everyone has been waiting for as we get ready for this barrier to be removed and the floodgates to open. Michael Torres, you've been waiting here all night long. You are seconds away. What's going through your mind?
It's about time.
He's got to be a little bit tired. He's been here since 8 o'clock this morning, and you can look at the many people who are in line behind him waiting for a very, very long time. But I'll tell you what, it is heating up here a little bit here in West Hollywood, but there are a lot of smiles on the faces here. This is seen to be a historic concert, and they'll be getting ready to go in here any moment. We are live on the Sunset Strip. Let's take it back to you.
So Slash tweeted out and even put on Facebook a Rest in Peace Tower Records founder Russ Solomon message. So that basically does it for this episode of Guns N' Roses True Story. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Did you guys ever go to Tower Records if you were in LA, or if you lived in LA? Let me know in the comment section below, and be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and also subscribe if you love Guns N' Roses as much as I do. Take care.